Hello everyone, I'm Tony Morris, your host for Southern Soul. Thank you for joining us today. Now, on Southern Soul, you're probably wondering, if you're just joining us for the first time, why is it called Southern Soul? Well, let me tell you. Southern is because I'm from Alabama originally, and the soul part is because I'm a psychic medium. And on the show Southern Soul, we'll talk not only somewhat about my career and what I do as a psychic, but we'll also cover a number of different topics from the world of spirituality. Now, this is the first show of 2017, and it's the perfect time to literally roll out the red carpet. Think about it. You can make this, we all can make this our year. Whatever we want to achieve, whatever experiences we want to have happen in our lives, even the people we meet, can happen this year. One of the things we always do on Southern Soul is we take questions from the viewers. So why don't we take a few right now? So I've got some questions. The first question is, can you elaborate more on when you say, I receive visions? Okay, yeah, I do say that quite a bit. You know, like I'm seeing this, or I'm getting a vision about that. And what I mean by that is, imagine if your mind had a third eye. That's what I have, is a third eye. And whenever I meditate especially, I actually receive visions in that third eye related to whatever my client, or sometimes I receive them for myself. But it's all about, sometimes they are literal photographs or literal images of people or places or things. Sometimes they can be like little mini movies, believe it or not. And sometimes they're like little sketchy charcoal drawings. They come to me in a number of ways. Now, sometimes they can be literal, like literal in their description, or sometimes they can be like a metaphor for something. But yeah, so just imagine if you had, like I said, a third eye in your brain or in your mind, and that's where I received them. Okay, next question. Do you believe in soulmates? Yes. And the key word is mates, not just mate. Because I feel like, how many times do you come across someone, maybe a new friend, and you felt like you've known them all your life? And it possibly has something to do with, you may have met them in a previous life, meaning your souls had connected in a previous life. And so I don't say soulmate, I say soulmates, because you can limit yourself if you just say soulmate. But soulmate means that, don't be surprised if you meet a number of people throughout your life that either they're your best friend, or they're your romantic interest, or they're just the person that you can always call on whenever you need to talk to someone. Okay, let's take one more question, okay? Do spirits try to communicate through electrical means? Oh, boy, do they. I can't tell you how many times in the middle of the night, like my computer has gone off, or I'll be sitting doing a reading for someone and the lights will flicker. Yeah, because everything's energy. You think about it, everything is energy. This shirt, my pants, the lights in this studio, everything is energy. And energy works off our vibrations and the signals that we either emit or receive. So don't be surprised if you're wanting to contact a loved one who may have passed or whatever, and they come to you in the most magical of ways. And yes, that could very much involve the flickering of the light, TV sets kind of coming off and on, radios, stations coming into with static and stuff. And certainly in this day and age of computers and high technology, don't be surprised if your computer kind of goes off the blink occasionally. Hey, thanks for those questions. Now let's get back to the red carpet. Now, rolling out the red carpet in 2017, we've talked about that. But understand that the red carpet is also very much associated with Hollywood movies, right? The big premieres that we see covered on television, you know, with the celebrities and the paparazzi and all the glamour. So on today's episode of Southern Soul, we're going to go to the movies. We all have our favorites, right? But on this episode, we're going to zero in on a specific type of movie, mystic movies. So grab your popcorn, grab a chair, and let's go check out the silver screen. So are we ready to go to the movies? I've got my popcorn, and if you don't have yours, I'll be happy to share. I'll share. But anyway, the first movie we're going to talk about in this special episode of Mystic Movies is the movie Ghost. I'm sure many people saw it. It was actually nominated for an Academy Award for Best Picture, and it won the award for Best Supporting Actress, Whoopi Goldberg, who played a psychic. And in the movie Ghost, she helps Demi Moore reconnect with her boyfriend, Patrick Swayze, who had passed away. The reason why I like this movie is because not only was it, of course, very entertaining, but it really did kind of open up some people's eyes to the world of how to communicate with the loved ones and being very open to it. The second movie we're going to check out is Heart and Souls. Heart and Souls starred Robert Downey Jr., and when he was a little boy in the movie, he was actually surrounded by spiritual guides. Now, the spiritual guides went away whenever he became, like a teenager and a grown-up, but they resurfaced later in his life to help him find out more about himself, and the spiritual guides actually needed him to help them take care of some unfinished business. That's the main reason why I like that movie Heart and Soul so much, is because spirits actually will contact humans to help them take care of some unfinished business on this physical planet. How many of you saw the movie starring Warren Beatty back in the 70s called Heaven Can Wait? Now, talk about a funny movie. It's adorable with Warren Beatty, Julie Christie, and the hilarious Diane Cannon. But it's a movie about where a soul can transfer over into another physical body and all the different hilarious moments that incur. Again, one of the reasons why I love this movie so much is because whenever you really feel like you found your soulmate, sometimes it can happen by just looking into that person's eyes. The eyes can reveal so much. Now, if you've seen the movie Heaven Can Wait, I'm sure you remember the very final scene. I won't give it away if you haven't seen it. Let's switch gears to something a little bit more dramatic. Ellen Burstyn received an Academy Award nomination when she starred in the movie Resurrection. Now, Resurrection involved a woman played by Ellen Burstyn, who's a great actress. I love her. But she played a woman who had a near-death experience. And as a result of her near-death experience, she discovered she had the ability, the special gift, to help people heal. She became basically a healing angel on earth. So this movie, to me, really opened my own heart and eyes about the possibilities of people having special gifts, healers. And it also reminded me that healing can come in a number of different ways. Certainly we have our medical professionals, but we all have a certain capacity to help heal, not only ourselves and others, but we can also help heal the planet. Okay, this list would not be complete if we didn't at least have at least one musical. Now, On a Clear Day, You Can See Forever starred Barbra Streisand, and this is the movie where she actually discovers her past lives. And they range from, being a very well-to-do English lady and an orphan, but she goes back through all her past lives, and it's really amazing how the musical numbers kind of tangle with what she's facing in her current life. So if you haven't seen On a Clear Day You Can See Forever, check it out. And of course, it does feature that big song, On a Clear Day. Trust me, I'm not going to sing. Now, how about animals? I know we've got a lot of us are animal lovers, but animals have there's a lot to be said, about animal instincts. And what I mean by that is they can really tap into spirit, they can tap into intuition because they have no blockage, nothing's blocking it. A prime example of that is the movie War Horse, which Steven Spielberg directed. It's the story, it's actually a saga, that takes place over a number of years between the special relationship of this horse and the different owners and that the horse experienced and the different relationships that he built. But at the very end, it's all about the reconnection of his original owner with him once more. And you might want to bring a Kleenex or two, too. It's kind of sad, but a good sad. Another animal movie that I love is Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Now, this movie was based on the best-selling novel written by Richard Bach, and it was written back in the early 70s, I believe, early 70s, because the movie came out in the early 70s. But the movie, I remember when I saw it the first time, I was in 6th grade. See, I told you I've been a movie lover for a long time. But I remember I saw it for the first time when I was in 6th grade. When I saw it then, the movie was way over my head. Because, first of all, there were no actors in that movie. It was seagulls. Lots and lots and lots of seagulls. And there were times when not a single word would be said. Great music by Neil Diamond. But what I didn't realize at the time was that Jonathan Livingston Seagull was a movie about a character, Jonathan Livingston Seagull, the actual bird, who dared defy the flock and soar to higher, greater places. And he also encouraged other flock members to take similar leaps of faith. Now, whenever I saw this movie, fast forward some 40-something years later, I connected with it like nobody's business. Now, I'd had my spiritual awakening where I discovered I was psychic by then. But this movie, if you haven't seen it, if you really want to understand how to get more out of your life, and in a very creative, just beautiful way, check out the movie Jonathan Livingston Seagull. But be warned, there's not a first person in the entire movie. Another movie that I really, really love a lot is Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Now, I would consider this Steven Spielberg's masterpiece. Granted, the man's got a lot of great movies, but if you haven't seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind, check it out. Because this is a movie that not only asks humans to believe in what's possible, but also reach beyond our physical existence, meaning understand that we are not alone, that humanity is not just here on this earth. We are meant to not only communicate with ourselves, but there's a strong possibility that we should be communicating with people or other types of beings from other planets. It's a beautiful movie, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Now, the most recent movie that I want to bring up is a movie called The Giver. Now, it takes place in the future. Meryl Streep's in it, Jeff Bridges, and some up-and-coming young actors that are just great. But it's really about a future society where emotions are not even existing anymore. It's all about sameness. And the sameness is there to try to make everything equal for everyone. Now, Jeff Bridges' character plays the receiver of knowledge, meaning he knows in his mind all the things that have happened in prior lives, and his job is to pass that knowledge on to a younger, new person. So don't be surprised when you watch this movie if you start asking yourself some questions too about, what is the meaning of life? What could we do without? What couldn't we not do without? And it does involve a level of spirituality that we have to tap into in order to be a true person of love, faith, and fellowship. So The Giver. Yeah, there's nothing like going to the movies. And I hope that this little review of mystic movies kind of gave you some ideas of your own, like what movies you'd like to check out, or better yet, what movies you would like to recommend to some of your friends. I just love going to the movies, and I hope you enjoyed our little mini recap of all the spiritual movies. I call them mystic movies. Now, this is my favorite part of Southern Soul. This is what I call the little red wagon segment. Think about it. When you're a kid, your little red wagon is your first toy. And it's also a metaphor for life. You put your dreams, you put your aspirations, and you carry that little red wagon with you throughout your life. It's always there. And I want to dedicate this particular segment to my spiritual mentor, Debbie Magnus. Now, Debbie is no longer with us on this physical plane, but she talks to me quite a bit. And I wouldn't be surprised if she's around the studio today while we're taping this particular show. Debbie was not only a true friend, but she was also, like I said, my spiritual mentor. When I discovered my psychic gift 8.5 years ago, if it hadn't been for Debbie, who was also a psychic, I might have been wandering through the forest with not a clue. But she was there, she helped me understand a new world. And she also helped me understand the ways in which I could help other people. So I dedicate this show to Debbie for personal reasons, but I also want to honor her because when the first time I met Debbie, she shared something with me. And yes, it had something to do with movies. The first time I met Debbie, she told me, Tony, we're all here. We're all here on this planet to write our life script. Think about it, life script. Here's a woman who was talking about one of my favorite pastimes, and I don't think she even knew it, or maybe she did. But she used movies as a way to communicate with me by saying, yes, we're all here to write our life script. We get to pick who we want to be in this movie, our movie. We get to pick out the kind of key scenes we want, and we also get to pick out the true experiences. What do we want to experience in this life script? So today's segment of Little Red Wagon, what I'm going to ask the viewers to do, or to consider doing, is to write down the components of your own life script. Think about it. What do you want your life's key scenes to be? Who do you want your co-stars to be? Meaning the people in your life. And what would you consider to be the highlights? And put those in your little red wagon. Thanks so much for joining us on the latest episode of Southern Soul. I really appreciate your tuning in. And until next time, keep rolling. Was that a great movie festival or what? I'm still with you. I shouldn't have got it.